The photo shows how it was. Yvonne Roman served for 25 years in the Newark Police Department. She rose from officer to commander to chief. She did it all often as the only woman in the room.
And when I first became a cop, I was well liked. I was a worker. I was cute. When I started ascending the career ladder, I wasn't cute anymore. I was a bitch.
The latest numbers show women make up less than 13% of sworn officers in law enforcement.
Joseph in Village West.
That's barely a change from the turn of the century, when they made up less than 10%. They make up far less of leadership. Roman says it shows.
There was this body of research literature that showed all these benefits to increasing the number of women in policing, and it was being ignored by the law enforcement community because it didn't fit their mold of what an officer is.
The research has long said that female officers use less force than males and are nearly 3 times less likely to have fired their service weapon. The research also found that a masculine police culture leads to negative stereotypes regarding women officers. That research all went ignored until a confluence of factors that might change how policing is done. The death of George Floyd and the reckoning that followed put a bright light on how law enforcement enforce the law. Many have demanded a less aggressive, more equitable approach.
How you guys doing? I haven't seen you in forever.
Meanwhile, many departments have seen fewer and fewer people applying for jobs.
It is probably the most difficult period of time in the history of law enforcement.
Jamal Symington is the chief of police in Bloomington, Illinois. His force is one of more than 150 that have taken the 30 by 30 pledge, committing that women will make up 30% of his recruiting class by the year 2030.
The statistics tell you that women do very well in law enforcement. They receive less complaints. The greater we are at reflecting the demographics of a community, the better off we are.
10-4. They're not expecting someone like me to show up to the door.
It's why when we called, they were happy to let us ride along with a current Bloomington officer, Carrie Johnson.
I would say the challenges that I've noticed aren't necessarily within the department. It's more so just society, because there's a lot of people who still believe that there's not a place for women in law enforcement.
That belief is so ingrained that even 30% looks like a victory, because it's still twice as high as representation today. Yvonne Roman started the 30 by 30 initiative. She's not convinced all who pledge will deliver.
Chiefs were desperate, and now, everyone wanted to show how progressive they were, and I'm, televising their signing of the pledge. Whenever they have an all-female squad going out, they'll photograph it and put it on. It makes news, right? I mean, it's really great for what we were fighting for, but the research has been out there for 50 years, right? It's just the timing and the zeitgeist is right for making this happen.
If it all works out, departments will have greater numbers, society might wind up with a less forceful, more effective brand of policing. It's why the photos Roman prefers to show look like this: women in law enforcement, dominating the room, amplifying their voice.
They don't want to give up this macho image of what they, the traditional view of what policing means. And I think, that traditional view is what's caused such a deep wedge between, law enforcement and the communities they serve.
In Bloomington, Illinois,
I love my job.
I'm Matt Pearl.